And now Sahar Pirzada from Heart, Women and Girls.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be upon you all. My name is Sahar Pirzada, and I am here representing Heart, Women and Girls as the Programs and Outreach Manager. I've had the fortune of working with Heart for a number of years, conducting workshops within the Muslim community on sexual violence and sexual health education. I've also been training skilled professionals on how to cater to the unique needs of Muslims in this era of gendered Islamophobia. Gendered Islamophobia is not just a concept, but a lived reality for many in my community. Gendered Islamophobia is a product of many things, one of them being narrative. We start from the dominant narrative that exists in this world about Muslims, the narrative that is accessible and consumable. This narrative is shaped by the media, news, and TV. And I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but I'm married to a filmmaker, so I watch a lot of movies, and especially award-winning films. Again, not that the Oscars gets anything right. But there were two international films that won Oscars recently documenting the stories of Muslim women. One was about acid attacks, and the other was about honor killings. And while those are certainly stories of importance, those stories shape the dominant narrative of the other and reinforce stereotypes that are widely held about Muslims. The stereotype that Muslim women are oppressed and that Muslim men are violent. These stereotypes are impacting individuals in my community and acting as a barrier for them to access the services and resources that they desperately need. Gendered Islamophobia is a woman going to the police station to report her assault and being discouraged by law enforcement from doing so and being told, "Aren't you afraid of the backlash from your family? What about honor killings?" Gendered Islamophobia is a woman going to see a therapist for sexual dysfunction, but instead made to defend the religious values she holds. Gendered Islamophobia is having a pat down for my headwear or hijab every single time I go through TSA. Every single time. Gendered Islamophobia is a Black Muslim woman being targeted by law enforcement in Los Angeles, arrested, and having her headwear forcibly removed by male law enforcement officers, a violation of her religious and bodily rights. Gendered Islamophobia is Muslims who experience violence being too nervous to approach law enforcement or call a hotline because they're afraid of their partners being taken away for terrorist charges or detained by immigration. And we all know that our communities are facing multiple forms of oppression, not just right now, but since the beginning of time. We are living these multiple forms of oppression. And when it comes to reproductive justice, there are very real structural barriers we experience to access professional help, community support, and resources when we need them the most. These barriers create systems that do not foster real choice. It may seem like there is real choice and agency, but there isn't. These barriers are a product of patriarchy and white supremacy and cannot be addressed in a vacuum. I share this with you today to explain why I do the work I do. I'm here to share the narrative that is living, the narrative of my people and of our communities. It isn't enough to offer comprehensive sexual education. We must think about whether or not it's relevant to the audiences we are working with. It isn't enough to have confidential abortion services available. We have to think about whether that is a safe and accessible option for certain people in our community. It isn't enough that we have sexual assault response teams on college campuses across the nation. We have to address the barriers to disclosing in Muslim communities before those services can actually be seen as effective or accessible. I am done with the system as it functions. I'm ready for something that speaks to my individual needs, and I'm so proud to work for an organization that is working to create that alternative. Heart Women and Girls is a sexual violence and health education nonprofit, and we're serving the Muslim community through health education, advocacy, research, and training. We only have 2 staff. And if you look at what grants are available to serve minority communities, especially Muslim communities, they often have to do with gender-based violence, but not the gender-based violence that I've experienced. We have volunteers, and we're nationwide, and we're virtual, because sometimes being virtual is the only way that you can reach folks who can't access these services otherwise. We believe that people can make informed choices about their bodies when they have culturally sensitive information and resources and a system that fosters those real choices. We are so grateful to be here and to share our work and build inclusive spaces that are authentically ours with all of you. We need this and each other for our communities to survive, thrive, and to rise. Thank you so much.